Alright, this next video, I definitely had to click on. It's by Film Theory, or the Film Theorists. It's, We Solved Community's Final Mystery. Now, I don't even really know what the final mystery is that they're talking about, and I'm a big Community fan, so we'll have to see where this one goes.
Matt Pat theorizing in the morning, and we're back, early birds. Later on in today's show, we'll have a preview of Greendale's hottest themed dances coming up
Alright, I did not realize it was Matt Pat. I'm automatically annoyed.
this semester. I'm personally looking forward to Dean Pelton's Flossathon for cavity prevention. It's sure to make plenty of human beings out there open up and say, "Aw, yeah!" But first, let's all loosen up our belts because we've finally cracked the case of Greendale's most notorious criminal. That's right.
Oh, the ass
we're
crack
cashing in
bandit?
on the identity of the butt crack bandit.
No.
Which, you know, is called something else in the show, but YouTube is stricter than mainstream media, so you gotta stay.
No, I mean, it's really not. You just don't have to be a huge pussy about it. You know, that's really what it is.
Brand safe, and you can keep the change on that one. Back after these messages, Matt Pat theorizing in the morning. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Film Theory. Way more than 6 seasons. Still waiting on that movie. Loyal theorists,
Yeah.
get ready, because today we're going to be dropping some
Waiting on the
quarter-sized
movie.
nuggets
Not
of
the film
knowledge down
theory.
your
Not the film theory movie, the Community movie.
unsuspecting brain pants. There's a crime afoot in the halls of Greendale Community College, and it's up to us to finally crack the case of the serial cracker. In the event that you have literally no idea of what I've been talking about for the first couple minutes of this episode,
Then why would you have clicked on this video?
let me introduce you to my favorite TV show of all time, Community. Now, if you're a subscriber to this channel, chances are you're a fan of Rick and Morty. Let's face it, the viewership numbers on those episodes don't lie. And if you like Rick and Morty, then there is a very, very high likelihood that you'll also love yourself some Community as well, because it was created by the same guy, Dan Harmon.
I'm staying in the sleep
Yeah,
study lab.
true.
All I have to do
Well,
is
Rick and Morty was more created by oh gosh, Justin Roiland than it was Dan Harmon. Dan Harmon did definitely help create it, but it was way more of a Justin Roiland show.
every 3 hours
Which is why the quality fell off so hard once he got fired.
and go, "Ah! Ah!" and I get 2 credits.
But now it is back on Netflix for all of you to pour directly into your eye holes. To catch you up, the show is about a dysfunctional community college study group constructed of weirdos and outcasts. The show itself is incredibly meta and pays homage to just
Yeah.
about every film and television trope you can think of, from iconic paintball episodes riffing on 80s
Some of the
action movies
best
like Die Hard
episodes.
and chicken finger heists
Yes.
that are inspired by mafia movies like Goodfellas, to claymation Christmas specials and even classic 8-bit video games.
While he's fighting for greed, we're fighting for friendship, which means we can't lose, okay?
Okay.
I guess there's no hug button.
It's also
Britta.
notorious for having some of the most intricate and patient meta jokes in all of television history. I mean, this is a show where entire plot lines can happen in the background and go completely unnoticed if you aren't paying attention. Which brings us to the episode
Like
that
the,
I want to focus on today.
The pregnancy one where there was an episode where in the background the entire time, Abed is helping a lady, like, give birth, and it's all weird and shit, and then 2 seasons later, he brings it up.
Season 5's Basic Intergluteal Numismatics, a mystery episode riffing on the tropes of dark David Fincher-esque films like Seven and Zodiac. But unlike those films' horrific murders, the threat that lurks in Community's halls is much more mundane. An evil that terrorizes Greendale Community College by sneaking up on people who have exposed a little bit of butt crack and then dropping quarters into the resulting slot. A move known on campus as cracking. Because of the nature of his crimes, he's referred to as the Ass Crack Bandit.
What up? Oh my god. Perfect timing. What's going on?
What if it were you hanging up on this wall? If it were you in that sandwich, you wouldn't be laughing at all.
Oh my god.
Back up and help it. Give me that bed.
Whom we'll hereafter be referring to as the ACB or just the Bandit, because it turns out YouTube censors are even harsher than NBC's. In the Fincher movies that Community's
Again, they're not. You just, have to not be a complete pussy about it. You know how often Asmongold says, like, all of the worst shit that you could possibly say without censoring himself? And you know how many ads are on his videos? His videos are loaded with advertisements. So I really don't want to hear this whole, we have to censor ourselves. We can't say ass. Yeah, you can. You're just being an ass.
parroting here, there are red herrings, subtle clues galore that have to be looked at inside and out, and still might not lead to a solution. And the same is the case with this particular episode. By the end of Intergluteal Numismatics, the case is left as wide open as the back of an ill-fitting pair of jeans. The ACB escapes unidentified. It's an incredibly frustrating, dangling loose end to the story of this show, one that I hope to finally tie up with today's video. Now, don't get me wrong, it is an incredibly difficult mystery to solve, but as Troy himself says,
all difficult things are better, like curing a disease or holding in a fart right now.
True. I'm wondering, who do I think the ass crack bandit is? What up, Agram? I think the ass crack bandit is Annie. Personally, that's who I think it is.
Bandit's main episode is in Season 5, but we actually know that the ACB was active on Greendale's campus as of Season 2.
It's you? I knew it was you.
Because Annie references the bandit in her speech while running for student body president.
If I'm elected, the assailant, known only as the ass crack bandit, will be brought to justice.
If you go
Oh, so she could say it, but you have to censor yourself? You can have her say it on the screen, but you can't say it? You could put it on the screen saying ass right there, but you can't put it on your screen. You have to say butt crack. It sounds more to me like you're just a giant fat pussy, Matt Pat.
Frame by frame and pause during the opening credits montage of news articles about the crime spree, you learn that there were no less than 7 crackings in 7 weeks during that first wave. You also get yourself a partial list of victim names. You even learn that the butt crack bandit was not
There he goes again. It's not the butt crack bandit. It's fucking not the butt crack bandit. Stop. If you can't even say the word, don't make the video. Straight up.
Serial fountain pooper. There are 2 different crime sprees. Eventually, the bandit just stops for reasons unexplained and disappears for over a year.
Ugh.
The Season 5 episode kicks off with a new crack.
If I said ass instead of butt, I would only make $300,000 instead of $400,000. So I said butt instead. Go fuck yourself.
During the
Right in the
reopening of
ass.
Shirley's sandwich shop. Shortly afterward, Troy becomes the next victim of the bandit, prompting the dean to propose Troy's Law, which would put cameras in Greendale's bathrooms. But at a rally for Troy's Law, another student named Vicky is cracked in the bleachers, sending the entire school into a panic. Annie believes that the ACB has access to the teacher's lounge and convinces Jeff to team up to investigate, discovering an important detail hidden in the bandit's letters.
I am the Mad Hatter, if hats were butts. To me, you're all like ants marching to class, freaks on parade. I mean, why mix metaphors? Ants don't have butts. Wait a minute.
Ants do have butts.
No. These are Dave. Dave Matthews. Hardcore fans call him Dave.
They're eventually
Now I'm starting to think it was Britta.
led to Starburns, who quickly confesses to the crime. But Jeff learns that he's not a Dave Matthews Band fan, and only confessed as part of a deal with the dean. After creeping on Annie in his office,
Aren't you going to pick those up?
By the way, this is after the this is after the show had gone slightly downhill because they got rid of Chevy Chase because Dan Harmon didn't know how to act right. And also this scene right here, this doesn't implicate him at all. He's known as being a creepy pervert and an alcoholic. That character, the professor, yeah. So
Professor Duncan is cracked in the hallway. Jeff and Annie pursue the assailant, but the bandit gets away and the case goes cold. Also, Chang walks around backwards eating a giant churro and wearing a fake butt, which leads to nothing in the investigation, but does lead to one of the strangest and funniest moments in the show's history.
This extra long churro tastes good in my real mouth.
Now, it feels safe to say that we can eliminate people who themselves got cracked. So that immediately eliminates both Troy and Professor Duncan, narrowing our field of potential suspects down to 10. We don't have tons of hard evidence to use in this case, but we can do most of the work of eliminating suspects by using what in criminology are called the 3 indicators of suspicion: means, opportunity, and motive. Means is all about having the tools necessary to commit the crime. And it's not exactly like quarters are particularly hard to come by. Means, though, also relates to the physical capabilities of the suspect, and that one is helpful because it immediately gets rid of Pierce as a potential candidate. In Season 2, when the bandit first becomes active, Pierce is confined to a breath-powered wheelchair, and let's just say he's not great at maneuvering around. There's no chance that he's going to be able to sneak up on anybody in this thing, so he's immediately off our list. Opportunity most closely aligns with alibi. If you're accounted for during the crime, we can safely eliminate you. In the opening of the episode, Shirley Shirley, Dean Pelton, and Chang are all in the cafeteria for the ribbon cutting of Shirley's sandwiches. And when Garrett runs in from having just been cracked, all 3 of them are still visibly there. So that knocks another 3 suspects off our list.
Okay.
It also can't be Starburns, and not just because he can't recognize Dave Matthews Band lyrics. When Duncan gets cracked, Starburns is still locked in his cage in the cafeteria being pelted with change. So that now leaves us with 5
True.
potential suspects remaining.
Great
Hickey,
show.
Jeff, Britta, Annie, and Abed. Now, examining motive forces us to be a little bit more subjective and connect more dots, considering things like victimology and the pattern of the crackings. And when it comes to motive, Hickey just makes no sense. Sure, he has access to the faculty lounge, he has a background in criminology, and he recognizes Dave Matthews Band when he hears him at the end of season 5.
Press stop on Dave Matthews.
I mean, real fans just call him Dave, but still, he knows the band. The thing is,
Yeah. And, you know, he's, at this point, pretty jaded against people around college age because his kid has disowned him and won't let him see his own kid. So, and he's also an ex-cop who was kicked off of the force and now has to work this job that he hates with a bunch of people that he hates and doesn't respect. I mean,
as though the pattern of attacks doesn't really make sense. If Hickey's been at Greendale for 15 years, why would he start cracking in season 2, stop for seasons 3 and 4, and then start up again in season 5? He's
why does anybody start doing anything? Just because.
also not the type to find this
Maybe he cracked one day.
sort of thing funny. He's not really the type to find many things funny, to be honest. But most importantly of all, knocking Hickey out of contention is the ACB's phone call to Dean Pelton, where he specifically calls out the relationship between Jeff and Annie.
Although sometimes I wonder, are they chasing me as an excuse to get near each other? I mean, got a room already.
We're friends.
Buzz Hickey in the canon of the show just met Jeff 1 episode ago, and as such has a less than 0 stake in the on-again, off-again relationship between Jeff and Annie. Thereby, Buzz is off the list. This phone call is also a key piece of evidence throwing both Jeff and Annie into question. I mean, they're both in the room when it happens, so they're not the ones making the call. That said, I guess it could have been pre-recorded, so we'll need more to fully eliminate them from contention. So let's look at the man who wouldn't put in the effort.
Just like that dude who, I don't know if you guys heard about this. This is a real life thing. There was a dude who was like a little tiny streamer, didn't really have any viewers or anything, and he broke up with his girlfriend, but then decided that wasn't enough. So he pre-recorded a video of himself playing like GTA, San Andreas, I think, maybe it was Vice City, and live streamed the pre-recorded footage as if it was live, saying that his chat function was broken repeatedly during it, and then went and murdered his girlfriend and tried to use the live stream as an alibi.
Do something nearly this elaborate, Jeff Winger. When it comes to motive problems, he's the character who
Yeah, it's
struggles to find a
wild.
motive to do anything. As such, sustaining a prank over multiple years just isn't Jeff's style. And while he has no real alibi for the crackings, he has access to the faculty lounge, he knows Dave Matthews Band lyrics, and may subconsciously be looking for an excuse to spend time with Annie, the rest just doesn't add up. Why would he fight against Starburns' confession? Why would he go looking for the Bandit's laptop with the message recorded on?
Well, and Jeff's character is extremely vain to the point to where if he was the ass crack bandit, there's no way the show would not end without telling you, because Jeff would have to tell people. He'd have to let people know. And this is specifically able to be proven by the episode where they go into the KFC wagon thing that's like a space simulator, and they all think that Annie told on them because they're in there. They're supposed to be cleaning it because they got in trouble for making an anus flag. And it turns out that Jeff told the dean because he's so vain that he had to say that. He had to tell them. It just seems like something he wouldn't find funny either. That too. But even if he did, he would have to tell somebody. He would have to.
On it if he was the one who planted it there in the first place. None of these have a particularly good answer, and as such, Jeff is just logically off the list. Annie, on the other hand, is a suspect that requires a much closer look. If her hope is to pull the crackings in order to get Jeff to define their relationship, that complaint on the Bandit's phone call makes a lot more sense. She's also the one who comes to the realization at the end of the episode that the Bandit might be a girl.
Don't worry. I got a feeling he'll be back.
Or her.
She's definitely was my
Is it
initial
a
guess, but
realization that it could be a girl,
think it's
or
Britta.
a slip-up admitting that it's her? Honestly, this moment in the episode is too vague to tell, but what isn't vague is her reaction in the final episode of the series when Jeff brings up the ACB one final time, and Annie has herself a very suspicious reaction.
You remember the Ass Crack Bandit?
Yeah. Do I remember? I mean, doesn't everybody? Could have been anybody.
But the most damning piece of evidence
True.
of all
I
against
forgot
Annie
about
comes
that.
from the script itself. When fans question what the deal was with Annie's awkward reaction in the final episode, community writer Alex Rubin posted this picture, supposedly from the episode's script. That seems like it should be an open and shut case, right? The script for the final episode of the series outright says that she was probably the bandit the entire time. And yet, I am convinced that it wasn't her, and I have the evidence to prove it. Annie, being
Okay.
obsessed with the ACB case, keeps a scrapbook binder of all the key newspaper coverage, pieces of evidence, and her own theories. In the episode, that scrapbook is only shown for a few minutes during the opening credits crawl. But that prop went on auction back in 2017,
No
selling
way.
for the not too shabby price of $800. As a part of the auction lot, they displayed high-resolution photos of what is actually in
Yeah, I mean, the show did kind of basically tell us it was her, but only in that, like, slight way.
inside the
I don't
binder,
know.
some of which are never-before-seen pages that didn't make
It
into
never,
the
it never explicitly says it.
episode. And in those, we actually see 2 full pages of Annie's thoughts on the case. Not only would it be insane for her to be keeping such meticulous notes and theories on a crime spree she herself was committing, but what's
Unless she committed the crimes and these were her plans beforehand.
more interesting isn't what she's writing, it's how she's writing it. Throughout the episode, we're read multiple notes written by the ACB, but we're actually shown 2 of them. One at the top of the episode, and a second later in the
Oh,
episode
shit.
that, in order to actually
Forensics.
read, you have to pause, flip, and color correct. And for both of those letters, Annie's scrapbook handwriting just doesn't match the ACB's letter handwriting. And this isn't just me overthinking things either, since in Zodiac, one of the David Fincher movies that this episode is parodying, handwriting is the damning final piece of evidence. So it makes sense that it's important for solving this episode's little mystery. Long story short, it's just not
Nice.
in Annie's character. It's a juvenile prank that she doesn't find funny. She's a goody two-shoes who gets mad about her pens, not a prankster out to cause chaos and fear across the campus. But you know who would enjoy this sort of prank? Britta. In season 1, we learned the type of prank
That's why I'm thinking it's Britta. Hell yeah, nice get your video card. That is sick, dude. Hell yeah.
pranks that she likes, and they're just kind of lame.
So I was gonna sneak in there, get a frog, and then tomorrow, when Senior Chang's class is coming in, there will be a frog on his desk wearing, ta-da!
Oh, you're done.
And at the end of this episode, Britta commits the Freudian slip of typing her name instead of the bandit onto her project. But given that she can't even say bagel properly, it's a pretty easy detail to overlook.
Bagel!
No, the suspicions on Britta actually go a lot deeper. Britta doesn't have an alibi for any of the 4 crackings that we see, and we know that she has regular access to change.
How many quarters were in this cup holder?
The same amount?
She's also the single likeliest person to be upset at all the time that Annie and Jeff are spending together trying to solve the case. So that part of the bandit's phone call would make sense if it's coming from Britta. The victimology also makes sense for Britta. Troy broke up with Britta at the end of season 4, so it's conceivable that she'd want to crack him. Given Duncan's general creepiness towards Britta, not a surprise that she would want to crack him as well. And in season 2, she
True.
was just coming off the heels of being rejected by Jeff, so again, a spree of crackings immediately after getting dumped. Except
True.
there are 2 main pieces of physical evidence with Britta as the culprit. And it all begins with the first note from the bandit that we see in the episode, which contains even more lines that are left unread on camera. If you pause the moment when the letter is shown and zoom in, you can see this line that's not
Yeah, if she did, you think Annie knew? That would explain it. Yeah, Annie could. Yeah, true. The way she writes, though, and the way the Ass Crack Bandit talked, that's the reason why I thought it was Britta, is because of the way the Ass Crack Bandit talks and writes. But it could be a dual thing, like both of them are in on it.
not read aloud. Quote, "It's not my hand that drops."
You know, like, frick, I can't remember what it's called, but that one movie. Ooh, where they're both the killer and they're switching in and out. I can't remember.
It's God's. And that is something Britta would never say, even if it was joking, even if it was trying to make a point.
Yeah, but your religion isn't the same as morality, and calling me amoral because I'm atheistic is religious persecution.
But it's not just that note here either. Physical evidence on the Bandit is slim, but there is a bit that we can use to finally eliminate Britta once and for all. In this shot, right before Troy's cracking, we get to see the Bandit standing relative to a real-world object, a 6-shelf school library bookcase. Researching these sorts of shelves, we know that they're typically 7 feet tall, or about 2.1 meters. The Bandit is standing around the height of the 6th one, putting his or her 1 meter relative to a ring. On the Bandit is slim, but there is a bit that we can use to finally eliminate Britta once and for all. In this shot, right...
Yeah, okay.
Before Troy's school library bookcase. Researching these sorts of shelves, we know that they're typically 7 feet tall, or about 2.1 meters.
Targeted when I saw
is standing around the height of the 6th one, putting his or her height between 5'10" and 6 feet tall, or just around 1.77 meters.
Well, no, because she's standing under... All right, let's go back again. Standing, if you look before he outlined it and obscured it, you can actually see that based on the way she's standing lower. Because, all right, here, let me use the mouse to point this out. Can you guys see the mouse right now? No, it's not showing. All right, properties, capture cursor. Okay. And now it stopped working when I did that. That's great. Okay, well, I fucked it all up. Oh, I just changed the name. All right, here we go. All right, so if you actually look at the perspective of it coming from here to here, that's where she's standing at. So it's not, she's not on the level of the 6th shelf. She's under it, which would actually put her at about 5'8".
Right before shelf 7 feet tall, or about 2.1 meters, the Bandit is standing around the height of the 6th one, putting his or her height between 5'10" and 6 feet tall, or...
Nope, 5'8" and 5'10".
Just around 1.77 meters.
Wrong.
The actress who plays Britta, Gillian Jacobs, is only 5'4". And
okay,
Britta
well, I'm still off then. Oh, but heels.
May wear high boots throughout the series.
She does.
6-inch platform heel is just crazy.
It's crazy, but not 5'8". Not a 4-inch heel.
For her.
Or 3 to 4 inch.
Britta. Which leaves us with one. Abed. Abed is known for pulling the strings around campus to make real life feel more like a TV show.
Now look what you have done. Tell them they got 24 hours to solve the case. They do. You have 24 hours to solve it or else. That's the poster.
And yet he's oddly disinterested in the crime drama that's happening around him.
Abed, can't you just stand at the scene of the crime and see what happened?
I see a man using a social disorder as a procedural device.
5'4", smash.
Hurts.
Could it be he doesn't want to be in the role of the detective because he's already in the role of the criminal? It does seem unlikely given that he'd have to crack his own best friend in the course of this episode, but he's been shown to be willing to hurt his own friends for the sake of a bit before.
So, this wasn't a real conversation. You were doing another movie? This is why we don't hang out!
It's Troy! You know it's Troy! Okay, it's the first part of Troy and Abed! I'm not psycho! Okay.
And here's the thing, he has no real alibi during any of the crackings. In fact, his behavior is extremely suspicious.
What are my eyes hearing?
First, right before Troy's cracking, Troy calls Abed and it goes directly to voicemail, potentially because he's right there, lying in wait outside of the study room. More suspicious, though, is Abed right before Vicky's cracking.
Okay,
during
all right.
the assembly to discuss Troy's law, for a split second, we can see Abed next to Dean Pelton through the crowd. A few seconds later, he's gone. And seconds after that, Vicky gets cracked by someone under the bleachers. Is it just a continuity error, or is it a hint that Abed is the true culprit?
There are not many continuity errors in Community. I will tell you that. That's the one thing they are very, very sure about. Like, even the fact that even the fact that there's the zombie episode where actual zombies show up, that still has implications in the show. Like, lady ends up pregnant. How can I not remember anybody's names right now? That's crazy, but the lady ends up pregnant from that episode, so even that, like, there's not many
Let's continue,
continuity
though, because
errors.
the evidence doesn't stop there. Annie is convinced that the ACB has a shortcut through the faculty lounge.
During the Bandit's most daring spree, he cracked 3 people in a row. My quickest time was 20 minutes. The ACB did it in 10.
Except here's the thing. Abed is shown in season 1 to
He's
be
fast
the
as
best
fuck, boy.
athlete in Greendale, with
Yeah.
an unusually fast running speed. Even for Troy, who himself was a big-time high school athlete.
As the best athlete on campus, I need you to run to my office.
Dean, I am not the best athlete on campus. Abed is.
Go, Abed, go! Before people sex one another.
So what?
They cut out the best part of that joke, though, dude. It was a fucking... In that joke, it's like... Because he stands there and he pauses. Between every word. About that long. And the whole time, there are holes poked in the condom. So he's supposed to be, like, hurrying.
Annie can do in 20 minutes, Abed can most likely do much faster. But here's the kicker. The thing that absolutely solidifies Abed as our ACB. When it comes to the 2 main pieces of physical evidence in the case, Abed fits both. Danny Pudi, the actor who plays Abed, is 6 foot tall. The exact height that we need him to be to measure up properly against those library bookcases. And the piece of evidence that absolutely seals the deal, his handwriting matches the ACB's notes. In season 1, episode 21, Contemporary American Poultry, Abed makes a chart mapping out the likes and dislikes of all his fellow study mates. On that board, we get a good sample of his handwriting, which we can then compare to both of the Bandit's letters in this episode. His capital B's are bubbly, just like the Bandit's. He dots his lowercase i's, just like the Bandit. His lowercase b's, p's, and d's all seem to match the Bandit's notes, but most convincingly of all is how he writes his lowercase m's, 2 little humps in one continuous stroke, just like we see in both of the Bandit's letters,
Nope.
just like a little butt. The intricate nature of the ACB's crimes is consistent with how immersive Abed can be in his little project.
I will say the writing, that doesn't sell me. That doesn't sell me at all. That is just, that's how normal people write stuff. That wasn't... Honestly, it didn't even seem that close. Can this person not spell? Yeah, right? Yeah, honestly, when you look at them, too, they're not the same. It's just spelling. It's just how people spell. The D is way different. You look at the D down here, where it has, like, a full curve going off of it, coming into the next letter. This D doesn't. This D is on its own. The B right here actually has a tail and is more boxy here. It's really rounded and small there. The I and the B is at a full-on angle. He writes his B's at an angle. So actually, even if we're looking at the things that, oh, he writes the same way, he doesn't. The only one that's similar is the P. The only one that's similar is the P. The rest of them are like the tail on the D right here, the top, way shorter, or the stem, I mean, is way shorter than the actual D over here. So, yeah. Right, Bird, like, this guy. Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, no, I don't buy this at all, dude.
In both of the ACB's crimes is consistent with how immersive...
Personally, I think it's Britta. I think him saying, oh, no, because she said God, and because I measured the height of the character incorrectly, it couldn't be her. It's like, nah, dude. First of all, like I said, measured the height incorrectly. Second of all, it's got to be Britta from everything I've heard, plus the fact of just the way the Bandit talks. Just the way the Bandit talks alone. And Britta would be a person that is dumb enough to think that just saying God would throw people off of her trail because she's an atheist. Because that's Britta for you. I think it was both her and Annie. It was her, but Annie knew. That's my theory. I could definitely see that, but Annie didn't want to give away who it was because not only is she friends with Britta, but she also wanted to have the excuse to spend time with Jeff.
Abed can be in his little projects. He's one of the few characters who'd be willing to commit to a bit for literal years just to see it pay off. And here, just like in the crime dramas that he watches, he laid out clues that would point to everyone else, mentioning God to make Shirley a suspect, citing Dave Matthews to make Duncan and Jeff a suspect, calling out Jeff and Annie's relationship to force Britta into the spotlight, cracking his own friend Troy to avoid suspicion himself. It's exactly how these crime dramas seed out red herrings to point to everyone else until it's finally revealed that the detective was in on it the entire time.
So he's saying that even though he wasn't the detective, he refused to be part of it, so that part's wrong too. And he's saying because there was no evidence that pointed towards Abed, that it must have been Abed. That's a crazy statement to make. That's an absolutely wild statement to make. Because there's no evidence whatsoever that points to Abed, it must be him.
But
good thing this dude isn't trying to solve our fucking crimes in the real world, because it would not go well.
only Abed has the means, the opportunity, the motive, and properly fits all the physical evidence that we have to do the deed. He only quits his crimes because Pierce dies at the end of the episode and Troy leaves on a boat with LeVar Burton shortly thereafter. His life from that point forward in the series becomes a lot more serious, and his hijinks become a lot more muted. But it's important to remember, Abed didn't assume the role of the ACB to be malicious. Quite the contrary, he did it to help him understand the world just a little bit better, to relate to others just that much more.
Nah.
TV, it's comfort. It's a friend you've known so well and for so long, you just let
Yeah, Reed was Jack the Ripper. How can I prove it? Because no evidence points to him. Easy. Next.
It needs to
Yeah.
be okay for it to have a bad day or phone in a day, and it needs to be okay for it to get on a boat with LeVar Burton and never come back.
I think at this point in time, we can all relate to the feeling of comfort that comes with immersing yourself in a fictional world. But hey, that's just a theory.
And a bad theory. A crap theory. Made by a guy with an annoying voice who always talks like this.